have a dream, oh, I have a dream. Red, white, and blue, fly free, fly free. I believe, oh, I believe. Will you dream with me?
Good morning, everyone out there. Welcome to Changing Times. This is Wednesday, February the 23rd. We're going to have ice and sleet this afternoon, so everyone be careful. Try to stay home if you can. You're watching our show live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on Facebook and on YouTube. And then we're on
Rumble, Daily Motion,
Twitter,
and
LinkedIn.
Yep.
So we're everywhere. I don't even know how to get on all those platforms, but somebody does. And that's why thousands of people are watching our show. And I've been told that by Jim Whining, our CEO and Bishop for Acts Ministry, that we're going to get 4 more platforms in another month or two. And so we'll be on 10 different social platforms. That just blows my mind. So everybody's out there somewhere in the United States or the world watching our show. This is week number 47. Don, can you believe that?
That's hard to believe.
I mean, we have been blessed. They haven't kicked us off the air yet. Facebook has kind of stumbled a little bit and thinks that 1 or 2 of our shows is a little bit non-truthful. But you know what? That's not true. That's not true. That's the opposite. But anyway, we're going to keep doing what we do, because we want to bring hope to everyone, and we are bringing great people, just like John Widiger today with YoungBlood Motor Group. We are bringing people to come to our shows every week that are going to educate you and give you some really good information. This time, we're talking about automobiles. And, you know, I kind of thought about this, Don. This is very important, not because he's a sponsor for our show, but this is important because the number one purchase of a family is a home, right? That's your most expensive investment. But today, because of the way the value of cost of cars are going up, new and used, boy, I'd say that may be the second most expensive item that you buy. And you got to figure out whether you can take care of the repairs and maintenance and all that stuff. So I would say this show is going to be extremely important. I've known John for a long time. John Widiger and John Youngblood are the partners for YoungBlood Motor Group, and they're located at 3838 South National and Campbell Street, and in Springfield, Missouri. And we're going to talk more about them here pretty soon. But Don, I'm going to go ahead and let you go ahead and get started. I think we got a couple of questions that you can ask. We're just going to kind of take turns, John, asking you questions, try to get everything out that you know about automobiles, because this can really, pay attention, folks. This is really going to save you money and save you a lot of trouble. So.
Well, very few people can get by with not having an automobile. I mean, it's a thing that we have to have. And, you know, when you're younger, you kind of think about what's fast and, you know, what's fun to drive. And then when you get kids, you're like, you know what, I need a safe vehicle. I don't want to be left on the side of the road. You know, we've got bad weather coming in today, and not that any vehicle is good on the road with bad weather, but it's nice to have that security in having a nice vehicle. So, you know, when people are looking right now, you know, is it best to buy new? Is it best to buy used? I mean, this is a big thing people are having to play out in their minds.
It's a crazy market. And I have been doing this for almost 38 years now, and I've never seen anything like this. The pandemic actually created more demand than I think the new car manufacturers had in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are, you know, the demand was so high that we legitimately ran out of new cars. And it has caused a increase in used car pricing, right? So the smartest thing to do right, in my opinion, the best value for the money right now is to order or get a new vehicle. We have had customers that have purchased new vehicles from us. It just happened the other day, as a matter of fact, where a customer bought a vehicle from us for, I think it was around $25,000, and they were able to sell it for $28,000, like within 6 months of buying the vehicle.
Yeah.
And the reason is because of the limited supply of new cars. You know, people are still getting in accidents. Cars are still breaking down. They still have a need for a vehicle. And when that need comes, they're having to go to the pre-owned lots. And so used car prices to us, if we go to purchase them, is 30-40% higher than they were only 18 months ago. And so the new vehicles, if you buy a new vehicle and you plan on keeping it, okay, then it's a great value right now.
Right.
You're not going to get hurt on a new vehicle like you traditionally would have. Where a car has never been a really great investment. I mean, they depreciate, right?
Right.
So that's why leasing kind of became such.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
And I'm sure we'll get to that. But
yep.
Right now, my recommendation would be, if you can wait, get the vehicle ordered that you want, the way that you want it, and it'll come in within the next, depending on the model, 3 to 8 months from now.
Wow, 3 to 8 months.
And the used vehicle that you're currently driving is going to be worth $3,000 to $4,000 more than it would have been. And where people think, that the dealer, on a new vehicle that they're making, $3,000, $4,000 on the car, that was gone many years ago, right? There's maybe 3 to 6% margin from what that window sticker is. So on a vehicle that maybe is $30,000, there may be $1,800 margin for the dealer in that car. It's not as crazy as you think. So even if times were flush, where we had 300 vehicles on the lot and we were discounting new vehicles, there would only be around an $1,800 margin there, right? That's all we have to work with. Where right now, your used car is worth $3,000 to $4,000 more than it would have been only a couple of years ago. Yeah. And so my recommendation, if you're looking for a good deal right now, is to get the new vehicle and maximize what you can get out of the vehicle you're currently driving.
Now, do you guys buy used cars?
Oh, we'll buy everything and anything I can get a hold of right now, because we can't find them. We can't get them.
So if somebody wants to know, if you're interested in their vehicle, do they need to bring it up there? Could they call and tell you what they've got? What's the best way for people to, just kind of see what their car's worth if they're looking to sell it?
There's a lot of different ways. You can literally go to our website right now as we're on this call or on this show, and it'll say appraise your trade or get a number on your trade-in right on the website. One of my people will reach out to you. You can send us pictures of it, send us a picture of the VIN plate, send us pictures of the mileage. The only couple questions we ask are, does it need new tires? Are the front tires in good shape? And are the tires in good shape, and does it need brakes in the front? Because normally cars will go through 2 sets of front brake pads before they'll go through a set of rears because of the momentum of the car and stopping. And so with that and with some pictures, we can give you a quote on your vehicle and what we would purchase it for within minutes of you reaching out to us.
Okay, that's fantastic. Well, is there a better time in the year to buy a car?
Right now, not really, because the demand is so high and the available, like for example, right now in my entire Kia dealership, if you came to my store and wanted to purchase a new car, I have 2 available for sale.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
2. In the Nissan store, we have a total of 15 available for sale. And so if I happen to have the car you want in the right color, in the right equipment, and in the right, interior color and everything, then you're lucky if it happens to be one of those 15 that I have on the lot. But for most people, that's not the case. And so what we've done is anything that we have incoming in our order bank that is coming from the manufacturer that has been promised to us, we are posting those build sheets on the front windows of the showrooms. Okay. And so anything that is not sold, you can pre-reserve or you can put your name on one of those incoming cars, and obviously you would get it quicker that way.
Talk about changing times, huh? Never thought you would see anything like this, huh?
It's crazy. And yes, prices of new vehicles are a little bit higher also. I mean, because of me not having availability of the new cars and the demand being so high, we do have an adjusted markup on our cars of $2,000 over the window sticker. Okay. However, again, you're going to get $3,000 to $4,000 more for the vehicle. And at the end of the day, because I'm receiving 30% less inventory, expenses never have a bad day. I've still got to make payroll and the lights on and keep the building and everything going. And so it's our way of trying to minimize the effect to the consumer, but still being able to keep the doors open and keep the business running.
Well, I know Lynn has a bunch of questions, but before we move forward, I just want to say thank you so much for being a partner on our show, a partner with this ministry. We're on show number 47. We've been able to talk about trafficking, autism, domestic violence, just go through the gamut of these nonprofits and give them the ability to sit right here where you are, promote their nonprofit. And we couldn't do this show without you. So we just really appreciate you. And Lynn and I always say, you're a difference maker. You're being the change.
Yep.
And we were talking a little bit before the show about how much you guys give back to the community and how much you partner with nonprofits. I mean, it's really incredible and very endearing.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other car dealer in Southwest Missouri that's as generous as you are. And I know that least of these, we've had them on, and they struggle to just continue to feed more and more people. Convoy of Hope, all the different people that we've had on helped raise money, missionaries, different people that's been on. I watched how generous you are with the school system down in Ozark and around, and that you take $50 out of each car that you sell and you put that in your fund. And I think you give around $200,000 a year back to great organizations that help so many people.
Right.
And
so also
cool.
The fact that you're now doing commercials with nonprofits. I mean, commercial time is so expensive. There's no way these nonprofits would be able to afford that. Right. So it's really nice to share that with them in that space to give them some awareness. And
yeah, I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, John Youngblood, myself and John Youngblood both come from very humble beginnings. We were not silver spoon kids, that were born into the, had parents that were car dealers or anything like that. Right. I started selling cars when I was 19 years old and have worked very hard for the last 38 years to get where I am.
Right.
And we are one of the only remaining locally owned dealerships here in the Springfield market, right? You've got the Thompson dealership, and now Pinniger, I know, who is a local family, just purchased a Honda store across the street from us. But between the three of us, we're pretty much it. All the other dealers that are in the area are corporate owned, and the profits and the money actually go out of the area to their headquarters in other states in the country. Here, our kids our kids went to school here. We grew up here. Our families are here.
Right.
We that are mainly helping women and children in the area, and we try to focus on charities where the dollars are really truly going back to the community. It's trying to make a change in people's lives that are struggling, in whatever area that they are struggling in. And so it warms our heart to be able to do it, but at the end of the day, we wouldn't be able to do it if the town that we're in wasn't supporting our business. And so giving back is important to us.
Well, I tell you what, 43 years, you and John Youngblood, 43 years as a dealer in Southwest Missouri. That's probably one of the longest strings going, and kudos to you. Let me ask you, we got inflation going on. You got interest rates that they're just beginning to raise up. So again, probably a good time to be buying a car would be buying it now because of the interest rates. We don't know what it's going to end up being, but we know it's going to go up.
Well, they're saying now that they're going to look at it every other month.
Yeah. So every other month is probably going to go up.
6 bumps is what they're estimating over the next year in interest rates. So rates are extremely low right now still.
Right.
We can secure financing at 2.9% financing through any of the local institutions that we use. We are offering 0% financing. Consumers, but it's a great time to do it. Interest rates are as low as they are going to be ever right now.
Right.
We are going to see an increase.
Yeah. So folks, if you're needing to buy a car or a home, now's a good time to do it because interest rates are going to go up, and that just makes a big difference in your monthly payment.
Absolutely.
So, hey, I want to talk about, and you and I have done this before, but I think this is interesting because a lot of people don't understand why you would lease a car.
Right.
And I've leased a car. We, in our company, we leased several cars. We bought several cars. We kind of did a mix of buying and leasing. Right now, my wife's driving a car that's leased, and I bought my car from you, and I bought it. So what would you tell people about when do they buy, when do they lease? How do people know what to do?
Well, if you look at my management staff who are in the business, they lease everything they purchase, right? As far as a vehicle is concerned. So I guess it's a different way to look at it, but if you're financing a vehicle, you're really leasing that vehicle. You're just taking on the responsibility of it. A lease is just a different way of financing the automobile, okay? Because if you're making payments for, some people now are going out 5-6 years on these loans. Actually, the average is around 72 months now. If you borrow that money for 72 months, you're making payments on that amount of money, right? If it's $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, you're borrowing that amount from the bank, and then you're making payments, and you're obligated to the bank to pay that money back to them. Just because the car is there as collateral, the bank doesn't care. They're going to get their money back, right? Plus the interest on it. On a lease, it's the same thing. It's just a different way of financing it. So at the end of a 3-year window, if you're somebody that loves to be in a new vehicle every 3 years and has consistently done that anyway, depreciation is your lease payment. When you go and you finance that $50,000 car and you start driving it, what's happening to that value of that car every month as you drive that vehicle? It's depreciating, right? Well, all a lease is your payment is based on the amount of depreciation that car has every month. So you're paying for the use of it, okay? The benefit of leasing is that you're not obligated to the bank for the full amount of the purchase price of the car. At the end of 3 years, they already have it in the contract that they'll take the vehicle back for whatever the balance is. Okay, so your payments are based on the depreciation. At the end of 3 years, you can walk away from that car. In most cases, when you finance a vehicle for 72 months, in normal environments, now it's a little bit crazy, right? Because vehicle values are so high. But if you finance that vehicle for 36, or I'm sorry, if you lease that vehicle or purchase that vehicle in 3 years, you could end up owing more on that car than what it's worth.
Yeah.
Right? They call it negative equity. How many times have you gone to trade your vehicle prior to the loan being paid off, and the dealership has told you, well, you owe more on the car than what it's worth, so we need to carry this $2,000 or $3,000 over? On a lease, that never happens.
Right.
Okay. As long as you don't exceed the mileage that you agree to put on the car, that will not happen in a lease. And people say, well, I'm a high mileage driver, I can't lease the car, right? The mileage penalty that you will have, for example, let's say that you drive a vehicle 30,000 miles a year. Okay. In 3 years, this vehicle is going to have 90,000 miles on it. What do you think the value of that car is if a used car manager goes out and appraises that car at the end of 3 years? Right? It's going to be considerably lower.
Right.
Right. Well, it's the same thing on the lease. Your payment's a little bit higher, right? Because you're paying for that mileage in your lease. But so many people don't look at it that way. They finance the car for 72 months. They go and drive it 25,000 miles a year. And then they wonder why at the end of 3 years, they owe more money on the car than what it's worth. On a lease, you build that 25,000 miles a year into the lease. The mileage, not really penalty, but the amount that you'll pay in the lease up front for that mileage is considerably less than what it would be affected in value at the end of that 3 year window.
I think that's a good point, John, because I think we've seen this too in our company cars. If you kind of estimate how many miles you're going to drive a year on your car, and if you go ahead and buy more miles up front, it's going to affect your payment a little bit more. But I tell you what, it's a lot less than when you go to trade your car in.
Absolutely.
And they say, okay, well, you drove 40,000 over what Well, if you'd been paying for those 40, it would have been over time, and it's a lower price to begin with. So I think that's a great point.
Leasing, in my opinion, on a new vehicle is the only way to buy a new vehicle. If I'm buying, but and it's crazy too, because in our market, like in the St. Louis market, Kansas City market, I came out of Chicago originally. We leased 30-40% of the vehicles that we sold. Here, it's 4%.
Wow.
So the consumers are very closed-minded to leasing. They're not, and it's really, and we love explaining exactly where your dollars are going, and we'll do an apples to apples comparison for you. If you lease this car for 3 years, here's where every penny of your money goes, and here's what it looks like at the end. And if you finance this car for 5 years or 6 years, here's what the money would look like. And then we look at it and we draw that line at 3 years and go, okay, financially, which one is the better way for you to go? With the mileage that you drive on your car, are you better off leasing the vehicle, or are you better off purchasing the vehicle? And let the customer decide, right?
Yeah,
so
that's good. That's good information. So let's kind of go back to used cars a little bit. I know on your used car lot on South Campbell, right across from your dealership, where your Nissan Kias are being sold, you got all kinds of cars.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you've got BMWs, you've got trucks, you've got a good selection of used vehicles. We'll say pre-owned. I like the word pre-owned car, and some of them are really nice looking. I drive down Campbell all the time, and so I kind of go by both of your lots.
And a beautiful dealership.
Yeah,
they just really stand out.
Yeah, oh yeah, and so so. Does your dealership, do they sell program cars or certified cars? Does Nissan do that?
Absolutely.
And
I've noticed some of the dealers around me. It's kind of funny. I was noticing it this morning as I was driving into the store, but because right now, as I said earlier, we have literally 2 Kias available and around 15 Nissan cars available. So my new car lots look barren. I mean, they are empty, right? And then we've got all the incoming cars.
Got quite a bit on the used car lot.
I mean, well, it's the one thing that I can control,
right?
Is because I can go out and I have a person on my staff. His name's Keith Johnson, and Scott Burns, who's our used car director, and they are literally on auction sites all day long. And all they do is purchase vehicles, right?
Okay.
For consumers here in our local area. A lot of dealers, when the pricing went up, stopped buying used cars. They said, well, they're too expensive. Well, they are too expensive. But if you don't have them, you've got no shot at selling them.
Right.
And so we've stocked up on over 200 units. And so if you drive by my corner on Campbell and Walnut Lawn, you're going to see a lot of cars on that corner that are available for everybody's needs, right? Trucks, SUVs, small cars, compact cars, sports cars, everything that we hope people are looking for. When it comes to program vehicles, I noticed that some of the dealers around me, because they noticed that our new car lots are empty, all of a sudden have some late model Nissans and late model Kias, on their front line to make sure people see that they are offering those. We have, I believe right now, around 40 certified pre-owned Nissans and Kias in stock, okay? The difference is that those other dealers are not Nissan and Kia dealers. Just like I'm not a Honda dealer, or I'm not an Infiniti dealer, right? I have the ability to certify those cars. Those other dealers don't. So when you're shopping that, not only are our prices competitive with what those other dealerships are offering, but with us, you get a 100,000-mile warranty directly from the manufacturer because it's a certified pre-owned Nissan and Kia.
Oh, that's a lot of peace of mind.
Oh, yes.
That's valuable.
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, the warranty on a certified pre-owned is longer and more rambunctious, I guess you could say, than what the new car warranty is from the vehicle when it was brand new.
Wow. Well, that's a good thing to know. So if you're anywhere in Southwest Missouri and you're looking for a new car, maybe a certified John Widiger, YoungBlood Motor Group's got some certified program cars. It's a great deal. So
Absolutely.
That's a great warranty. So, and you guys check it from front to back. You guys check it.
It's a 120 point inspection that our certified mechanics, that our factory trained Nissan and Kia mechanics have to go over that vehicle to make sure that it is up to spec to be a certified pre-owned.
Wow. Okay. Don, I think we were going to ask about electric versus gas. What do we do?
Yeah, what do you think about that? Because man, gas just keeps creeping up.
It does, and my fear is that we're getting to that point now, especially with, as you had mentioned, inflation. I mean, everything is just so crazy right now with what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, and inflation and interest rates going up. Gas prices are going to continue to go up, and I was even watching the news last night with some of the countries that are I didn't realize that we were importing oil from Russia.
6%. But that's
country.
Ridiculous. We should be 0%.
We should be self-sufficient.
Right.
So
we were.
Exactly. And so, as gas prices go up, the fear is that all of a sudden the value of big SUVs and big full-size trucks are going to be affected by this. And people are now going to want to go back, because I remember when it happened last time, and everybody wanted to trade out of their trucks and get into a more fuel economical vehicle, which is great for our business because we have people coming out wanting to trade out of their vehicles and get into another one. But electric cars are very interesting. We're starting to deliver our first handful of them now. With Nissan, they've had the Leaf out for a while. The issue down here, where these cars are very popular on the eastern and western seaboards, in our community, the infrastructure isn't there for it. These cars, the Nissan Leaf, when it first came out, was only really able to go 80 to 100 miles on a full charge. Now they're up to, and this is 4 or 5 years ago, that was one of the first all-electric cars that had come out. And we only sold, a handful of those cars a year, because unless you were just commuting locally, like you had a little bit of a short trip to work every day and you could charge your car all night long, you couldn't make it to St. Louis.
No.
You couldn't make it to Rolla really and back on this car.
Right.
So now the EVs are up to 300-mile range on a full charge. And we are just now getting the new EV6s in from Kia. We delivered the first one yesterday. Beautiful cars. They're all electric. They do go 300 miles, but you better make sure that you plan your trip, and you better make, because God forbid you get caught in the weather we're about to have.
Or accident out on the highway and you're stopped for an hour or two.
Hours at a time, and you're in an EV and it's, below zero outside and you run out of charge.
Yeah.
Then you're really stranded. So,
well, hey, I tell you what, we're going to take a break. I'm going to talk about our sponsors, including you. Don, when we get back, let's talk about hybrids.
Okay.
Because I'm curious what you think about a hybrid, because in my opinion, right now, I don't trust like you say, infrastructure. We don't have all these charging stations in place, and the federal government says they're going to build, hundreds of thousands of them. Well, let's see when that happens and how that's going to happen. That's going to be expensive.
Before you go to that, I can see the benefit of an electric car if you're just staying in town, you're driving a bunch for your business, and you're knowing your territory in your area. But yeah, you get out on the highway and you better have a plan.
Yeah, for a lot of us, I mean, we're still pretty mobile. So I mean, I can't see me only going even 300 miles. I that's why I think a hybrid would be better, where you pull the switch back and forth and go back and forth. But anyway, hey guys, we've got two sponsors that we're extremely proud of. Brad Pistow is a certified fiduciary financial planner. He's located right in Ozark, Missouri on Farmers Branch Road. And I'll tell you, he's the guy I use. He's the guy that Janet and I have put all our trust in. So everything in retirement planning is through Brad Pistow. Today, I've noticed that the stock market went down again today. It went down yesterday. It's going to continue to go down as this Ukraine situation ramps up, as gasoline prices continue to go up. They're saying now over $4 a gallon this summer. And we're going to see the stock market be very volatile. Every day that I've got all my investments with Brad Pistow, Trinity Financial Services, I don't lose a penny. I absolutely do not lose a penny. And so all the money I put in, I'm making money every day. I'm not losing money. And it's just a real peace of mind to know that I'm using him. He's written 2 books called Safe Money Matters. If you call 581-9222, 417-581-9222, Lisa or Hunter will answer the phone. Hunter does all of the Medicare Advantage plans, Medicare plans. So when you get old enough to use Medicare for insurance, you want to talk to Hunter because he knows all about that. And that's going to save you money because you want to make sure you get the right plan. But Brad will take care of all the investments for you. And honestly, they'll send you that book called Safe Money Matters. It's just send it to you free. He's licensed in several states. And so he's not just limited to Missouri. And then he's got a brand new book out called Bulletproof. And it's just a continuance of what he wrote in Safe Money Matters. But he's basically talking about his plans are bulletproof. You're not going to destroy that plan. That plan is going to keep your money, and you're not going to outlive your money that you invested in retirement. So I highly recommend them. These are #1 financial savings retirement books on Amazon and right there in Ozark, Missouri. So it's just a tremendous thing. The other sponsor is right here sitting with us, John Widiger, John Youngblood and John Widiger with YoungBlood Motor Group. They were a sponsor, and thank you for being a sponsor on my radio show for several years. Mm-hmm. And these guys, 43 years in dealership around Southwest Missouri. They specialize in new and used pre-owned cars. You heard what John said, got lots of used cars right now, but if you need a new car, you gotta order it. 3525 South Campbell, and the telephone number is 882-3838, 882-3838. And I'll tell you, the person who usually answers the phone is Susan.
Yes.
Susan. And I know that because when I call and want to talk to you or talk to someone else, what a pleasant person.
She's
so
awesome.
You absolutely want to have somebody that answers that phone, just like Lisa does on Brad Pistow's office.
Right.
You can tell that she's smiling while she's talking to you on the phone, and when you give her a message, she delivers it. She knows what's going on. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of like the quarterback of how you get started with YoungBlood Motor Group. You got to go through that phone. That's how you do it. So I think that's really good. But we're going to talk later. I think Don's going to go ahead and ask some more questions, but we're going to talk about some things that I always advertise with you and talking about your 72-hour guarantee, how you can order online, how you can just get that car delivered to your house and kick the tires, put the wife on one side and put the kids in the back and luggage and everything like that, and kind of have that. And if you don't like that car, you guys will bring them in another car and you kind of test them out. Just a really no hassle type of way. I think you're the only company that does that. And so we'll talk about that as we go along, but let's go ahead and talk about hybrid cars.
Yeah. Tell us what you think about the hybrid option.
The hybrid option is probably the best. With that, you talked about, I think you said flipping a switch,
yeah.
Right? You don't even need to flip a switch. It's automatic.
Wow.
When the batteries start to deplete, the engine fires up and it will charge those batteries up as you're driving.
So the battery charges back up while you're driving?
The battery will charge from the engine itself, right?
Okay.
You don't have to plug in a hybrid.
Okay.
Now they do have plug-in hybrids where you can make sure your batteries are always fully charged. But then when the batteries deplete, that engine will fire up and it'll charge those batteries for you while you're commuting. And it does it. The entire system is done automatically.
And a hybrid gets pretty good gas mileage anyway.
Gosh,
right?
Yes.
50, even if it was
45, 50 miles to the gallon.
Yeah. So between sharing gas and electricity, it's going to go down the road at a lot.
And you don't get stranded, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have a charging station, you're not stuck on the highway.
Well, see, I think for the listeners, hybrid is the way to go, I think, because we don't know exactly when the switch is going to be turned. The federal government thinks they want to get rid of all gas-powered cars. Hate to see that. And I don't know how long that's going to be. I think it's going to be a lot longer than they predict.
I agree.
But what if you had a gas-powered car at the very end? You just need to time it right.
I don't think that they can just do this phase out. At the end of the day, right now, there's going to be combustible engines on these roads for a long time. There's too many of them on the road now for it just to flip a switch, right? And their lofty goals of 2025 and 2030 of having, a majority of just electric cars being sold, I think is kind of unrealistic. Number one is, you talked about this earlier, the infrastructure involved in doing this is billions of dollars. I mean, it's not a small amount of money. Right now, we have a system that works, but they are pushing for this agenda, and ultimately, until that changes, the manufacturers are going to try to adhere to that and try to produce electric cars as the government is requesting. But the infrastructure to do this, and the other thing that nobody talks about, is what are you going to do about disposing of these batteries?
Oh, yeah.
Because as these batteries in these vehicles, as you drive these cars over the years, just like any battery that you would have, all of a sudden it won't take a charge anymore. And this 300, mile range electric car, all of a sudden after 100,000 miles was only going to handle 150-mile range of battery, charging ability, or the batteries go bad. Now, last time I checked, a battery on a new Nissan, on a Nissan Leaf, if the battery wasn't holding a charge anymore, was over $15,000.
Well, see, that's a problem, sir, because, I saw on TV where someone had bought a
Tesla,
yeah, and he bought a used car, like only 1 or 2 years old, and it didn't have that many miles on it. He was so proud of it, and it's an expensive used car, but a really nice car. But then guess what? His battery failed on him, and he had to buy a new battery. And they told him it was like $25,000. Yeah, 25,000. Yeah. Well, how many people are going to have 25,000 to buy a battery? Well, so you know what he did? He hired a company, and they blew it up just like the stacks on the the Springfield Utilities, where they blew up those 4 stacks. He blew up his car.
I think I saw that. It was actually on YouTube. Yeah. Because and the other thing you got to remember is that the cost of a electric vehicle right now is probably twice the cost of a combustible engine vehicle in similar size and amenities and everything else. The EV6 that we delivered yesterday, I think, was a $62,000 car. And this is a vehicle that's really no bigger than a Nissan Sentra, Nissan Altima, very similar in size, right? They're not cheap. No. The average EV is going to run around $50,000 in an entry-level electric car, okay? And you get into the Teslas, and you're talking about $125,000 vehicle. You're not going to see me going out and buying a $125,000 car. It just doesn't make sense.
No, I'm not either. So I'm going to be coming to you. I'm going to be buying a hybrid, I guess.
Yeah, they're more expensive. You don't know what's going to happen when you got to dispose of the batteries. The infrastructure isn't in place yet. There's a lot of questions still.
Yeah, very good.
Well, when it comes to the bigger vehicles, we kind of touched on that. We know that the gas prices are going up with them. I'm one of those people. I used to flip houses. I've got German Shepherds. I like the SUVs, the trucks. If I ever don't have a truck in my life, I miss not having a truck in my life.
Right.
So, some people do need those vehicles. But what do you think about, are they kind of phasing out? Are we looking at, a car's a better option, or what's your thoughts?
No, I think the manufacturers have done a great job. For example, I'm driving a new Nissan Titan right now. Okay. And I'm getting in the high 20s to low 30s in fuel economy on that vehicle. And the reason is, I notice when I'm driving on the highway, I could be doing 70 miles an hour, and the RPMs are running around 1,300 RPM.
Okay.
So what they're doing is they're attaching 8 to 10 speed transmissions to these V8 engines, which is keeping the RPMs down. So you'll notice the vehicle shifting more. But ultimately, it's keeping the RPMs down when you're at cruising speeds, which is helping the fuel economy of the vehicle. And so you're getting fuel economy out of these V8 vehicles now, and big 6-cylinder turbos and things of that nature that they're putting in some of these trucks and big SUVs with fuel economy, what we used to see out of a 4-cylinder.
So the key is to get a newer vehicle that's up with the technology.
Correct.
If you're going to need a bigger vehicle for your life.
Correct.
And the best time is now, because the price is going up, but the technology's here today.
Absolutely. The Nissan truck that I'm driving right now, brand new truck, is around $65,000, right? And this is a leathered up, fully loaded truck, right? It's got the 9-speed transmission in it, so it gets fantastic fuel economy. Well, if you look at what we sold yesterday in that EV, it's not going to give a range of more than 300 miles. Yeah, you're not going to buy fuel, but you're going to spend $60,000 for that vehicle. You know,
Yeah.
you could have a brand new truck.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think those are wise comments. Very good. Very good.
I think we're going to talk about maintenance and how important that is.
Yeah, let's talk about maintenance, and then I'm going to go back and talk about, let the people know about some things that I always try to talk about when we're promoting your business, your YoungBlood Motor Group. So maintenance, repair, you guys, as far as I'm concerned, because my last 2 cars I bought from you guys, and so looks like we got about 5 minutes left. Matt Pearson, our we're all volunteers here, John. So Matt is a tremendous young man, and he works here 3 days a week and working on shows for us and stuff like that. And everybody's a volunteer. And so that's why I think Don and I love this show, is because we don't have to worry about paying to be on this show.
Everybody's got a heart for what we do with the
Yeah.
ministry.
And so I like that. I was always having my rates raised. Never raised your rates, I don't think, but man, I tell you what, I just was taking it on the chin on the radio station. They just kept raising my rates over the 7.5 years, and to where I might as well just been selling advertising,
Right.
and I wouldn't have been able to get very many people to come on and talk to us because we ran out of time all the time. But anyway, repair and maintenance, you guys are great on repair and maintenance.
Well, I say that my sales team can sell you a car, and that's great, and they'll take great care of you. And we know that we have to be competitive on pricing and everything else in order to earn your business as a customer. But my service department sells the next 5.
Yeah, I think so too.
If you have a bad experience in a service department at a dealership, how motivated are you going to want to be to go back to them and buy a car, right?
That's right.
So the service department is extremely important to me. I want to make sure that our customers are being treated right and that communication is good. But maintaining the vehicle is extremely important. If you don't follow that maintenance schedule,
Absolutely.
then there are situations where we've had customers that didn't change the oil in the car and the motor went out, and the first thing that the warranty company or the manufacturer is saying is, we need to see the maintenance records.
Right.
And if you're changing your oil on your own, something didn't go right if all of a sudden there's a lot of sludge in this engine, right? Either the oil didn't get changed or something wasn't going right. So if you have it done at the dealership, we maintain all the records for you. We can pull them up for the manufacturer. We can fight for you to get a repair covered by the manufacturer if you have the maintenance done on the car. Very
good. So, keeping the records, you don't have to worry about it if you go to the dealer.
Correct.
And so I think that's the best thing. I wouldn't even try to change my own oil. So I always go back to you when I need service done. And that's what everyone needs to do. Go back to your dealer and get it done correctly. And you will win. You'll be a winner on that. So let's go back to, probably not so much for me, but my wife could do it. Buying a car online.
Mm-hmm.
You can, today's going to be a really bad afternoon with sleet and freezing rain. So not a real good day to probably go out the parking lot and work with a salesman.
Yeah, we're getting prepared for being slow right now.
Yeah. So, but you know what? You could go online and it's perfectly fine inside the house,
Mm-hmm.
and you could pick out your car, pick out the color, the model, everything. You could do, like you said, you could trade in a car.
Mm-hmm.
So you key all that stuff in, and you can negotiate your payments, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you need to do that you do at the dealership, you could do at home.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do it all.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can have them deliver the car to you.
Mm-hmm.
You'll deliver the car. And then what's that 72-hour guarantee? Tell the people what that is. So,
our whole slogan is that we want to make it easy for you. Okay.
Yeah.
And so not everybody wants us coming to their home with the vehicle. Not everybody likes that, but people want to take their shopping online and be able to take the process further so that they spend less time in the dealership.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have found is that people are going through and we're negotiating the car deals. We're finalizing all the numbers on the car deal. So basically all they have to do is come in, the car's ready. It's in front of the dealership. They can drive it, make sure they see it, and it's everything that they thought it was going to be.
Right.
If they want it brought to their home, we can do that. But When we say we make it easy for you, we do offer a 72-hour exchange program. So if you buy the vehicle, you take delivery of it, and it's just not for you, you don't like it, you decided that you made a bad decision, you can exchange it within 72 hours for as long as the vehicle is the same or greater value of anything else that we have on the lot. Okay?
Yeah, I always tell people, I mean, this is a great thing. You know, if you put your wife over there on the passenger side, you put your 2 kids in the back seat, got the seat belts on, and then where the luggage is, you put your suitcases and put the dog back there and see if everybody fits, see if everybody, how they fit, drive around the block, see how things go, you know, and you know, to me, I don't know of any other dealer doing that.
Not that I know of in our town. No, we have a 72-hour exchange, 72-hour test drive program. We'll bring the car to you, and you can test drive it for 72 hours before you decide.
Well, you're pretty confident that you got a good car, a good product, or you wouldn't do that.
That's right.
And you got a good guarantee. So I highly recommend YoungBlood Motor Group in Springfield, Missouri. And I tell you what, we appreciate you being here today.
Thanks
We're running
for
out
having
of time. We will be live next Wednesday, show number 48.
Amen. Do I hear a hallelujah? Can I get a hoorah